This essay is part of a series exploring pivotal historical events and concepts. We delve into the narratives that have shaped our world. This piece focuses on a recurring theme: we versus others. From ancient tribes to modern nations, humans have drawn lines in the sand. We define ourselves by who we are, but also by who we are not. This distinction can be a source of identity and solidarity. It can also lead to prejudice, discrimination, and violence. We will see how it has fueled empires, sparked wars, and shaped societies. By understanding the historical roots of this concept, we can better understand its impact on the present. We can then work to build a future where difference is not a threat, but a source of strength. The versus mentality is deeply ingrained in human psychology. Evolutionary biologists suggest it stems from our tribal past. In a world of limited resources, group survival often depended on cooperation and competition. Identifying with one's tribe and distrusting outsiders was essential for survival. Early humans lived in small nomadic groups. They competed for food, water, and territory. This competition often led to conflict between groups. As humans developed agriculture and settled in larger communities, the we versus others dynamic continued. City-states emerged, each with its own identity, culture, and often rivalries with neighboring states. The ancient Greeks, for example, distinguished themselves from barbarians. The Peloponnesian War, a devastating conflict between Athens and Sparta, exemplifies the dangers of division. This conflict weakened the Greek world and paved the way for its conquest by outsiders. Empires throughout history have often relied on the we versus others mentality to justify their expansion and rule. By portraying conquered peoples as different, inferior, or even barbaric, empires could legitimize their dominance. The Roman Empire, for example, expanded its reach across much of Europe and the Mediterranean. It justified its conquest by claiming to bring civilization and order to the uncivilized world. This rhetoric masked the often brutal realities of conquest, including slavery, exploitation, and cultural suppression. The concept of the other was also used to maintain control within empires. In hierarchical societies, rulers often relied on dividing populations to prevent uprisings. This created internal divisions that made it harder for the ruled to unite against their rulers. The Roman Empire, for instance, granted Roman citizenship to conquered peoples, integrating them into the Roman world. This policy, while strategic, also blurred the lines between us and them, contributing to the empire's longevity. Religion, a powerful force in shaping human societies, has often been intertwined with the we versus others dynamic. While many religions preach universal love and compassion, they can also be used to draw sharp distinctions between believers and non-believers. The history of Christianity offers a prime example. In its early centuries, Christianity faced persecution within the Roman Empire. However, after Constantine's conversion and Christianity's subsequent rise to prominence, the tables turned. Christianity became the dominant religion of the empire, and those who refused to convert, such as pagans and Jews, often faced intolerance and persecution. The Crusades, a series of religious wars sanctioned by the Latin Church in the medieval period, further illustrate the interplay between religion and conflict. European Christians embarked on military campaigns to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. This period saw atrocities committed in the name of religion on both sides, fueled by a potent mix of religious fervor, political ambition, and economic interests. While it has been a source of division and conflict, religion has also served as a powerful force for unity and cooperation. Many religious teachings emphasize compassion, charity, and the inherent dignity of all human beings. These principles have inspired countless acts of kindness, social justice movements, and interfaith dialogues aimed at bridging divides. Nationalism, a powerful force in the modern world, emerged in the 18th and 19th centuries. It centers on the idea that the nation-state is the primary unit of political loyalty, emphasizing shared language, culture, history, and territory as the basis for national identity. While nationalism has been a force for liberation and self-determination, it has also been exploited to fuel division, conflict, and oppression. The French Revolution, a pivotal event in the rise of modern nationalism, championed the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. However, this era also witnessed the rise of exclusionary forms of nationalism that defined the nation in narrow terms, often based on ethnicity, language, or religion. The two world wars, in many ways, were products of extreme nationalism, imperialism, and the pursuit of national interests at the expense of others. The horrors of the world wars, particularly the Holocaust, served as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked nationalism. The dehumanizing consequences of the we versus others mentality were laid bare. The Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union following World War II, offers a stark example of how ideology can fuel the we versus others dynamic. The two superpowers, representing capitalist democracy and communist authoritarianism respectively, engaged in a global struggle for dominance, dividing the world into two opposing camps. The Cold War was characterized by an ideological battle of ideas, propaganda, and proxy wars. Both sides demonized the other, portraying their ideology as the only path to peace and prosperity. This ideological divide permeated every aspect of life, from politics and economics to culture and sports. The fear of the other during the Cold War led to an arms race, espionage, and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. Countries around the world were forced to choose sides, often becoming pawns in the superpowers' game of chess. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the subsequent collapse of the Soviet Union marked the end of the Cold War. However, the legacy of the Cold War continues to shape international relations today. In the digital age, the we versus them mentality has new avenues of expression. The internet connects people, but also creates echo chambers and filter bubbles. Social media platforms amplify polarization, hate speech, and misinformation. Algorithms prioritize content that confirms beliefs, reinforcing confirmation bias. This leads to online communities that demonize opposing views. Political discourse is polarized, with online platforms as ideological battlegrounds. Internet anonymity emboldens extreme views and hateful rhetoric. This fosters intolerance and hostility, hindering constructive dialogue. Yet the internet also offers tools for connection and empathy. Leveraging technology for good can counter the we versus them dynamic. The we versus them mentality, while deeply rooted in human history, has had profound and often devastating consequences for individuals and societies alike. It has fueled prejudice, discrimination, violence, and war, hindering progress and sowing seeds of discord across generations. Throughout history, the categorization of people into us and them has been used to justify countless atrocities. From the transatlantic slave trade, where Africans were dehumanized to justify their enslavement, to the Rwandan genocide, where ethnic divisions were exploited to incite mass violence, the consequences of dividing humanity into groups have been catastrophic. The we versus them mentality creates a climate of fear, suspicion, and mistrust. It prevents us from seeing the shared humanity in those we perceive as different. This lack of empathy and understanding makes it easier to justify discrimination, prejudice, and even violence against those we deem as outsiders. Moreover, this divisive mentality hinders progress on critical global challenges. Climate change, pandemics, and economic inequality require global cooperation and a shared sense of responsibility. However, the we versus them mindset often leads to finger-pointing, blame-shifting, and a reluctance to contribute to collective solutions. Recognizing the pervasive and destructive nature of the we versus them mentality is the first step towards mitigating its negative consequences. By understanding its historical roots, psychological underpinnings, and contemporary manifestations, we can begin to challenge its grip on our individual and collective consciousness. Education plays a crucial role in combating prejudice and fostering empathy. By teaching history from multiple perspectives, promoting critical thinking skills, and encouraging intercultural dialogue, we can equip future generations with the tools to challenge stereotypes, embrace diversity, and build a more inclusive world. Promoting intergroup contact and fostering meaningful interactions between people from different backgrounds can help break down prejudices and build bridges of understanding. Shared experiences, whether through travel, community service, or simply engaging in open and honest conversations, can help us recognize our shared humanity and appreciate the richness that diversity brings. Furthermore, we must hold ourselves and our leaders accountable for promoting inclusive language and policies. By promoting empathy, compassion, and a shared sense of humanity, we can create a world where difference is celebrated, not feared. The we versus them mentality has been a recurring theme throughout human history, shaping our societies, fueling conflicts, and hindering progress. From ancient tribes to modern nation-states, the impulse to divide the world into us and them has had profound and often devastating consequences. However, history also offers hope. We have witnessed countless examples of individuals and communities overcoming prejudice, bridging divides, and building a more just and equitable world. From the civil rights movement to the dismantling of apartheid, humanity has shown its capacity for empathy, compassion, and a rejection of the we versus them paradigm. The challenges we face today, from climate change to global pandemics, require global cooperation and a recognition of our interconnectedness. By learning from the mistakes of the past and embracing our shared humanity, we can break down the walls of division and create a future where difference is not a source of fear or conflict, but a wellspring of strength and innovation.